The daughter of a great actor, and in her own right, an electrifying performer, Jane Fonda. Even though she made her first film 30 years ago, she is still today one of the biggest superstars in Hollywood. Jane's father, Henry Fonda, introduced her to acting, even though Jane was barely interested in the idea. But she was quickly bitten by the stage bug, and by 1960 had landed her first film and starring role to boot. In Tall Story, she was cast as a college co-ed with romantic designs on basketball star Anthony Perkins. It was an auspicious debut for someone who, thus far, had only a famous last name. Her next film, Walk on the Wild Side, was based on Nelson Algren's novel of the same name. This one cast Jane in a major supporting role in a story that took place at a New Orleans bordello.
3 of them want his love. 1 wants his life. The Dollhouse Cafe, where the girls can cling or claw. And a man can be had so bad.
Come on, I'll take you out of here. I'll help you pack.
Don't think.
Thinking's no good, only feeling is.
I'm past reclaiming, Dove. Don't you understand? If you've got the price, you're welcome. If not, there is the front door. You like me, Dove.
Sure, I like you, Kitty, but I don't feel like fooling.
Come here and I'll make you feel like fooling. When people are kind to each other, why do they have to find a dirty word for it?
Don't talk to me about love. What do you know? What does that young fool know?
The Dollhouse Cafe. It isn't a place where girls play games.
I need some money.
What's it for this time?
It's for a lady friend of mine. She's got another friend, and her friend, oh, in fact, it's her friend's friend's sister. She's got a boyfriend.
What are you doing here?
I run the candy concession.
Why are you doing this, Kitty?
I like my work. Besides, you meet a better class of people than you do on the road.
Ever see this girl before?
Yeah. Why?
She's made serious charges against you. Are you willing to gamble 25 years of your life on what Kitty will say to a jury of Southern gentlemen?
Joy House was a bizarre tale of a playboy seeking shelter in a mansion inhabited by 2 women.
Prisoners of their own secret passions, violent emotions.
You going to Venezuela with Barbara?
That's right.
No. Someone's going to stop you.
Yes, Vincent, I know.
Mark, he's going to kill you both.
Jane Fonda, so good, so wicked. Alain Delon, is he to be loved or hated? Lola Albright, is she innocent or is she guilty of things not even to be hinted at? And lurking behind a gay facade, the shadow of a killer.
Someone may come by.
A tame rabbit. That's me.
I think I picked the wrong animal. You're more like a wolf.
An exciting new picture. An exciting new star. Acclaimed for his brilliant performance in Any Number Can Win, Alain Delon becomes the new international film idol, man of mystery. Loved by 2 beautiful women, marked for murder as a bizarre plot suspensefully unfolds on the screen. In a house of joy, passion, death, explosive excitement, mounting suspense. fascinating, violent, terrifying.
She was the queen of the outlaws.
Jane began steadily building up an impressive list of screen credits. She scored a major hit in 1965 with Cat Ballou, in which she played the title character. This hilarious Western comedy showcased Jane as a former schoolmarm who journeyed down the wrong path into a life of crime.
And the first time I asked you to do one little thing for me, like rob one little train.
Now, hold on, man. Listen, Miss Ballou. Now, ma'am. Whoa!
A horse ranch Indian, a drug and gunfighter, a sex maniac, and an uncle.
Hey.
Oh.
Some gang. Lee Marvin as the drunkest gun in the West. Michael Callan as the maniac. Dwayne Hickman as the uncle with the good book. Tom Nardini as the noble red man. Nat King Cole, Stubby K. Jane Fonda as Cat Ballou, girl train robber.
Okay, you open up. Nope. Now, come on now, open it.
What's wrong?
He won't open the safe, says he'd rather die.
Is that right, mister?
Yeah. 7 left, 26 right, 14 left. Come on, jump. Jump! Jump! Wait a minute, get her off of there. Get her out of there. Just a minute, don't you do that. Don't you like get that gun away from her.
You won't make me cry. You'll never make me cry.
Makes no difference how they try. They'll never make her cry. She has the smile of an angel. Fights like the devil. The eyes of an angel. Fights like the devil. She's mean and evil through and through.
In the mid-1960s, it looked as if Jane might develop into a full-time comedian. She delighted audiences in the role of Jason Robards' mistress in the bedroom comedy Any Wednesday.
I'm not going to hurt you.
Who are you?
My name is Cass Henderson, and Miss Lindsley said with the convention in town...
Miss Lindsley?
Yeah.
Cass Henderson is a perfectly ordinary young inventor. Just the kind of girl would expect to walk into her apartment.
Look, if you live here, and this is company property, what are you doing living on company property?
It's a special arrangement.
Huh?
Like a scholarship.
Oh. Oh! A grant, like the Ford Foundation.
More like a Fulbright. Now, will you please go? I have to get out of these sleeves and clean up this mess.
Mrs. Cleves is just as ordinary a wife as you'd expect for John Cleves.
How do you do? I'm Mrs. Cleves.
Oh, hi, I'm Cass Henderson, and this
I'm
is...
so sorry to disturb you. I didn't know. Miss Lindsay didn't mention anything about anyone being in the...
In fact, the only thing unusual about this movie is it's about the most extraordinary day of the week, Any Wednesday. Oh, you don't think Wednesday is unusual? Well, just look. This is Mr. John Cleves on Tuesday. This is Mr. John Cleves on Thursday. What makes the difference is what happens any Wednesday.
Mrs. John Cleves, one moment, please. Chicago calling.
Mrs. John Cleves? One moment, please. Chicago calling.
Hello, Dorothy. How are you, sweetheart? Good. Oh, not bad. Bought 2 companies, sold 1, and how was your day?
He's a perfectly ordinary executive with a lovely wife, 2 children, and Ellen Gordon.
Following Any Wednesday, Jane went to work on Otto Preminger's Hurry Sundown. Jane co-starred with Michael Caine in a Southern soap opera that did little to further her career, but allowed her to play an out-of-type role.
Fonda. They're dynamite together.
Don't you come in here! Don't you touch me! No!
It was a combination that exploded day after day.
Ain't never been anything like that in my side of the family.
Jane Fonda is always fascinating.
Henry! Ah, depraved. Making your own wife blush before 6 in the morning.
You must see Otto Preminger's film Hurry Sundown, an explosive drama of love and the absence of love. It is set in the South, but it is happening everywhere.
Hurry Sundown was an interesting film, but in the mid-1960s, audiences identified Jane with light comedy. She didn't disappoint them in her next film, Barefoot in the Park, based on the hugely successful Broadway play written by Neil Simon.
Let's have one of the maids do it. I hear the service here is wonderful.
Barefoot in the Park, the barest, rarest, unsquarest love play that ever left Broadway to find happiness on the motion picture screen.
Forget it. They're never coming out.
How long's it been now?
5 days.
That must be a hotel record.
Wait a minute, Paul! Where are you going?
Work. I have to go to work. I don't do this for a living, you know.
Can't you call them and tell them you can't come in today? Tell them you're sick.
I am sick, but I have to go in today.
Last night you promised you'd never leave me. Thank you, Mr. Dooley. Next time you're in New York, just call me up. Did you miss me today?
No.
Why not?
Because you called me 8 times. I don't talk to you that much when I'm home.
Martini to wash down a pill.
It'll make you feel better.
I had a martini at home. It made me sick. That's why I'm taking the pill.
Barefoot in the Park, the fun-filled story of a typical honeymoon. It's always an uphill struggle.
Oh, darling.
Did you know it's 6 flights?
No, it isn't. It's only 5.
What about that big thing hanging outside the building?
That's not a flight. It's a stoop.
It may look like a stoop. It climbs like a flight.
And their neighbors are most charming.
Do you know that we have some of the greatest weirdos in the country living right here in this building?
No kidding. Like who?
Well, like to begin with, in apartment 1C are the Boscos, Mr. and Mrs. J. Bosco.
Who are they?
Mr. and Mrs. J. Bosco are a lovely young couple who just happen to be of the same sex.
Their bridal heaven in Greenwich Village.
Well, in the first place, Paul, it's just a little hole. And in the second place, what do you want me to do?
Go to pieces, like me. What's happening here? What is this? What are you doing?
I'm trying to get you all hot and bothered, and you're summing up for the jury.
It's the Wake Up, Break the Rules, Rock the Boat, Live It Up Comedy of the Year. Why don't you fall over laughing and go barefoot in the park?
Paul, if the honeymoon doesn't work out, let's not get divorced. Let's kill each other.
In real life, Jane had married French director Roger Vadim, known for his Svengali-like management of screen starlets. He had built Brigitte Bardot into a major international star, and in 1967, attempted to do the same for wife Jane. Vadim's film, Barbarella, was a futuristic sex farce that cast Jane as an astronaut in the 41st century.
Meet the most beautiful creature of the future. Her name is Barbarella, and she makes science fiction something else. Jane Fonda is Barbarella. Barbarella is a 5-star, double-rated astronavigatrix Earth girl whose specialty is...
love.
Shall I tell you what I would like?
I think I know.
Her top secret mission is a real wing-dinger.
I got him. Good many dramatic situations begin with screaming. Could you hand me a garment?
Barbarella was regarded as a rather silly picture upon its release, and today, even Jane herself would prefer to forget it. Seeking to restore her reputation as an important screen performer, she signed to star in Sidney Pollack's 1969 film, They Shoot Horses, Don't They? The film was a sensation with both critics and audiences, with Jane outstanding as a competitor in a 1930s dance marathon. Immediately following They Shoot Horses, Jane starred in the film that was perhaps the turning point of her career. In Clute, she won an Oscar for Best Actress as a high-priced prostitute involved in the disappearance of a well-to-do businessman.
2 girls lie dead, and somebody is on the other end of the phone. Don't be afraid.
What else do you remember about the man who beat you up?
Nothing, except that he wasn't kidding. Hello?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Jane Fonda, Donald Sutherland, Clute. This picture has been rated R, restricted.
Jane continued to turn out film after film. In 1977, she received an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress for her role of writer Lillian Hellman in Julia.
Julia, starring Jane Fonda as Lillian Hellman.
You're the one who talked me into being a writer. Dashel. You're the one who said, stick with it, kid. You got talent, kid.
If you really can't write, maybe you should go find a job.
I'm the toast of the town.
Her next film, Coming Home, netted her a second Oscar for her role of a married woman who falls in love with a paraplegic. 1979's The China Syndrome showcased Jane as a news reporter who exposes dangerous goings-on at a nuclear power plant. And the 1981 film On Golden Pond finally co-starred Jane with her famous father, Henry. It brought the elder Fonda a posthumous Academy Award for Best Actor.
We have been mad at each other for so long.
I didn't know we were mad, I thought we just didn't like each other.
I'm afraid of him.
Well, he's afraid of you. Because he doesn't care. He is a selfish son of a...
You're my knight in shining armor. Don't you forget it.
I want to be your friend.
Want to dance? Or would you rather just suck face?
No, really.
Katharine Hepburn, Henry Fonda, Jane Fonda, on Golden Pond.
Throughout the 1980s, Jane continued to make outstanding screen performances. At age 50, she tackled the role of a promiscuous alcoholic who becomes involved in murder in The Morning After, co-starring Jeff Bridges.
What did I do? Why don't I remember any of this?
Last night, she drank to forget. Today, she'd do anything to remember.
With 2 Academy Awards already under her belt, Jane Fonda enters the 1990s as one of the screen's most important and bankable actresses. And for a girl who, 35 years ago, showed very little interest in the acting profession, that's quite an achievement indeed.